It was a good week. You can see our offensive depth has been improved with the young guys, the Knights, the Spooners, the Sagans. You could see a lot of skill out there, which was nice to see. Guys worked hard all week, and it started off with the team building at the very beginning with the program, and we kind of bagged them a little bit, but they responded well.
It looks like you've improved, like the defensive depth. I think you mentioned it yesterday. We were talking about Stewie, but people like Barkowski and younger guys that you've brought in and acquired. They look like.
Well, the two that we acquired at the deadline they're good players, Barkowski and Camper, so they're going to help our depth. And then I think Tommy Cross had a good week too. He got better every day. He makes those quick little plays, and he's very strong physically. So I was happy with him.
How valuable is this for you to see them, I guess, with their peers and play against and alongside them?
We're careful not to treat this solely as an evaluation camp, but you can't help but evaluate. That's what we're paid to do. You like to see them how they grow together as a group because they're our future. But from the evaluation perspective, we've got some good skill out there. We really do.
Tyler was talking yesterday, Peter, that he doesn't think that there was any specific message going on here, that he and the other young players are here to get their work in. Do you think that's, the right approach in a camp like this?
There's no really overt message. It's like, let's bring the group together, welcome them to the organization, see what our principles and our values are on and off the ice, and get to work. So there wasn't beyond that. Which I think those are important things to convey to the kids. There's no real predominant theme out there, but it's a stepping stone in their development.
Given the level of competition or talent that was in this camp, do you feel it seemed like it was a good challenge for him, for Sagan?
Well, there's when he was matched up all the time against Joe, a big centerman, and he did well, and Joe did well too. There was a lot of competition there. I think his eyes were opened. The level of play, the level of skill, and he responded well.
Is anyone going to stay here in Boston and continue to work out, do off-ice training this year?
No.
They're all heading home.
Yeah.
Peter, the amount of people who showed up for this, exciting for you?
Yeah, we had to let them into our little private area. It was great, and they like the show that was put on. They see the obvious skill out there and the depth of the guys, and it's great. Whenever a couple of guys were saying to me that this is the most I've ever seen in this building, so that's good.
Is it something you envisioned, maybe kind of keeping people's minds on the sport as part of the development camp experience over the last few years?
A little bit. You make it open to the public, and you want our fans and our season ticket holders to have the opportunity to look at it and to look at what we're trying to accomplish here. And but this turnout today was outstanding.
Obviously, Peter, there's always expectations, but does a day like this remind you of that?
What? It remind me that their expectations are high? No,
yeah.
I get reminded every day about that. This camp, we knew the good players that would be coming to this camp, so it just reaffirmed what we already knew. It was nice for everyone else to see, for all you to see, because there's some tremendous building blocks out there, and part of it was the draft this year, but it's the development of the kids over the last couple of years.
For the guys who are going back to college, like Tommy Cross, obviously this is kind of a good glimpse for him, but will you have any kind of input into what he does going forward?
Yeah, and we have in the past, and we'll meet with all the players after this session, and we'll talk about goals and objectives and what to work on. And for Tommy, I think this was a real good week for him, because it's his first time part of this as far as the whole thing. He came into camp, he was in tremendous shape. He tested really well, and each day, as I said earlier, he got better, and he's strong, and this will be a good step for him.
Is there anyone else that's maybe progressed and was maybe a pleasant surprise based on what you saw this week that maybe stands out in your mind that's been to a few of these?
What was good about this week is that all the players that stood out were and they all, each of the players stood out in their own way. Like, there was no surprises, and that's comforting to me, because sometimes when there's a surprise, it's like you're looking for something, right? And so, I mean, there was no surprises for me this week.
With a guy, Alexandrov, he's under contract and will be over here this year. Is he? I haven't had a chance to try to speak with him, but last year you really couldn't even do it. I mean, he won't stay here for the summer, but I mean, is he progressing in all the areas?
Yeah. He actually was. Whether it was a long flight over or whatever it was, to start the session in the program, the team building exercise, he struggled a bit, and understandably to a certain degree. But what was encouraging was how he picked up the pace on the ice, and how the other guys, how he kind of molded in or mended in with the other guys, and it's going to take him a while. It's going to take him, but the fact that he's been over here 2 years in a row is encouraging.
I mean, do you consider? I mean, because of the league he played, I mean, is he a pro player in your mind yet, or does he?
Well, yes, he's played in the KHL. That's a really good league. And he's got to get stronger. He's got to get stronger, but he's got a really good head on his shoulder, good hockey sense, and his gap is really good, and a good stick. All those little things that come with playing in such a high level league.